What's up? Today we have a Knights and Sorcerer deck, Edison format. Been getting into that quite a bit recently, it's really fun. This card is a 1300 level 2 spellcaster, which is really important, and when it's special summoned from the grave, you can banish 2 monsters from your opponent's grave. It might be 2 cards actually. Yeah, 2 cards. I'm not sure why you'd ever banish a spell or a trap, but there we are. Really cool artwork. Love this deck. We have triple magical exemplar. This card is really good because whenever you activate a spell, you or your opponent gets 2 counters. You can remove any number of counters to revive a spellcaster from your grave whose level equals the number of counters. It sounds more complicated than it actually is. Basically, if you activate 1 spell, you get to revive your Knight and Sorcerer or Apprentice Magician, which is really nice. Or if you activate 2 spells or your opponent activates 1 and she survives, you can revive a level 4 spellcaster, which we do play some of. This is really good because it floats into your Knights and Sorcerer as well as these 2 bad boys. This one is Old Vindictive Magician. It's just a toolboxy mana bug. You bring this out when you want to deal with your opponent's monsters, basically, and it's dark, which is nice. This one is not a dark or light, which does suck, but she does have a really good effect where you look at the top 2, put 1 on the bottom and 1 in your hand. So very nice, generic to have when your opponent attacks into Apprentice and you don't want to get a Knights and Sorcerer. Maybe you've already got one engraved that you plan to bring back, and you don't want to get to Old Vindictive Magician either. Next up, we have a Gravekeeper's package. So we've got Triple Spy and the additional target of Gravekeeper's Guard. I really like this guy. He's got a big beefy 1900 defense and he can bounce any of your opponent's monsters when he's flipped. So good for dealing with synchros or tribute monsters. I'm not sure why you'd want to put like a Caius into your opponent's hand, but you never know, it might come up. And Gravekeeper's Spy, this is really good because it facilitates synchro summoning, as well as just having a big beefy defense, and you can also revive it. So all good shit. We've got Tomato. He recruits pretty much everything I've shown you so far. He recruits your Apprentice Magician if you're still wanting to just keep the defensive line going. If your opponent's got lots of monsters that they want to attack you with, it can get straight into Knights and Sorcerer if you're wanting to make a synchro play, or it can get you into your Spies and your Guards if that's what you need to do, or also it can get you into Gale. Very good card. Beats over Stardust. Also makes Arcanite with your spellcasters, as well as Blackwing Synchro. So very nice, very versatile. That one with good reason. You've got Sangan, same again. Searches basically your whole deck. No reason not to run that. For the lights in this deck, I decided to go with 2 Magical Merchant. Just a really good generic set. When it's flipped, you reveal cards until you get a spell or a trap. The rest go to the graveyard. That spell or trap goes to your hand. Decided to run this because I wanted a way to put Merchant in the graveyard without milling me spells, because obviously you want all your spells so you can keep proccing your Exemplar. So very good there. Only 2 lights in the main deck, but you'll see why later on. We've got Chaos Sorcerer. This is at 1 in Edison format. Really good card, just as broken in Goat, as it was in Goat, sorry. You've got Triple Instant Fusion. Really good card in this deck. Use this, you can instantly use your Exemplar to bring back your Knights and Sorcerer from grave. Pretty busted stuff. We have a Triple Upstart Goblin, generic draw power that also triggers your Exemplar, so no reason not to run this at 3. Lure of Darkness, pretty much the whole deck is dark. Sometimes you're going to have dead dark cards in hand that you want to get rid of for potential answers. We've got Gamoon. Decided to run this because Exemplar is a nice big beefy 1700 attack. if your opponent tries to attack it, you can book a moon their monster. If they've got no monsters when you summon the Exemplar, attack over it, and then Exemplar has a counter to potentially bring back Knights and Sorcerer or whatever you want. Apprentice maybe. We run a lot of tuners, well 3 tuners, so I decided to run Mind Control and Brain Control. You could potentially find room for a Caius in here. You could maybe go with like triple Caius as opposed to the Magical Merchant and Sorcerer package, because we are running like Spy and things like that, so there is arguments to run Caius over the Lights and Sorcerer, but I decided to stick with the spellcastery kind of theme. You can also revive Chaos Sorcerer, which is pretty cool if you can get enough counters on your Exemplar. You need 3 spells, which I have done, but it is very rare. You've got generic spell and trap removal, Heavy Storm and MST, puts counters on Exemplar, easy sides out for like Lights one, stuff like that. Smash and Ground. I decided to run this because I had a lot of trouble getting over big monsters. A lot of my stuff is weak in this deck, and this also pops a counter on Exemplar. We've got Lightning Vortex. I decided to run this as a way to dump your Knight and Sorcerer into the grave and then instantly bring it back if you've got Exemplar. So pretty nice. You've got Pot of Avarice, draw 2, very nice. And also because you run instant fusion and like spies and stuff, that tends to pop a lot of stuff out on the field, and then you synchro with, so that synchro monster counts towards this count as well. This hasn't been dead yet and I really enjoyed using it. We have Torrential Tribute. I find I don't commit a lot to the field a lot of the time. Tends to just be when I'm going for game, so Torrential Tribute is always nice to see. We have a Metaforce, very stable, very good. Tractor Shoot, same goes. Edison format is mainly about big beefy monsters, so that deals with them before they even hit the field. We have Solemn Judgment. We don't pay a lot of life in this deck. I think it's just Brain Control that pays life, so this is always nice. Limited to 1, otherwise I would probably play a second. Negates all your sheet. We have Call of the Haunted. This is really important because our magical Exemplar can get milled with Magical Merchant. If that happens, you want to wait to bring it back as quickly as possible, and this facilitates that. Going on to the extra deck, we have our instant fusion targets. So this is the Dark level 4, which is really nice. You can use it to make Goyo with your level 2, or you can use it to make like Black Rose with your Gale. We have our Dragoness, the Wicked Knight. This is a level 3 for making level 5s or level 6s, depending on which tuner you have. She's also a warrior, which is really cool because of a card we will get to. And the most important one, this is the reason we can get away with running only 2 lights in the main deck and a Chaos Sorcerer, is because instant fusion 9 out of 10 times goes for this guy. He's a level 5 for making 8s with Gale. He's a level 5 spellcaster for making Arcanite, which in my opinion is one of the best synchro monsters. And yeah, a really cool guy. We've got our Blackwing synchros in the form of Armor Master. Can it be destroyed by battle? Pops a wedge counter on anything it does battle, and then pops it. And then this guy does piercing, just nice to have for going for game, and he looks super fucking cool with his little nerf gun there. We've got generic level 8s, Red Dragon Archfiend, Thought Ruler Archfiend, and Colossal Fighter. This is what I was talking about when I said that Dragoness was important. We've got Stardust, probably the level 8 you go for the most. We've got Arcanite Magician, This guy is so badass. We've got Black Rose, just in case. We've got Goyle, probably the best level 6, I would imagine. Go for it a lot with your Exemplar and Knights and Sorcerer. We've got Briannak, if we're going for game. Discard your whole hand, bounce all your shit. And 2 level 5s, Magical Android, if we're desperate for life or need to beat over something that this guy can't beat over. I like just this Catasta. So yeah, that's the deck. Let me know what you think. Next deck I'm going to show is a Light Swan Edison deck with a bit of a twist. So stay tuned for that. Bye bye.